There's something that's been brought to my attention, which is something that I have said in the past, which is about, a 15-year-old sleeping with sort of someone like a 27-year-old or something. I'm not actually against that. I think if it's 14, I'm thinking back to my life as a Leah. The idea that she at 15 slept with R. Kelly doesn't bother me, but the idea that she might have slept with him at 14 does bother me. And I was thinking that, technically I'm not really against 15-year-olds sleeping with older guys, but I'm bearing that on my own sense because I know that in my life I was a very mature person. I think I always felt like, and I always felt like an adult, even at a very young age. I think that was the main reason why I wanted a house. My dad to buy me a house when I was 12, and I used to pester him for hours a day to try and get this. Because I wanted to move out and have my own house and prove that I was an adult. Hence why I like that. But yeah, I do, when thinking about Russell Brand potentially getting with someone 16, I don't know if the story is true or not. I don't want to think about it really. I don't know. But yeah, that guy did make loads of sexual sort of jokes. He did seem to have a quite an extreme character, um, which was entertaining to watch and stuff. But yeah, when thinking about him, I feel like at the legal age should actually definitely be 18. I feel like there might be some cases where someone underage, someone 16 or 17, is very mature for their age. They might meet someone who's much older, and they might like want to get with them because they feel like a need to, because they're similar in personality and maybe they do generally like each other. And I think in those cases, then I don't think it's too bad. But at the same time, yeah, if I realize that if you do make the sort of legal age of consensual sex like 15 or 16, there might be a few older people who might have mental illness or might have some sort of sex addiction, and they might seek a younger person who's quite immature or a bit naive as to recognizing mental illness in someone or recognizing addictions or something, and then it can probably turn in the wrong direction. So I guess a better way to play it would be to say that 18 is a consensual level. But if it happens to be 17 or 16, then you really need to just find out, what kind of person the younger person is, and just say, how mature are they, how able are they to decide and make decisions, and how right is the couple. If you think the older person does have, then the 18 mark should be taken more seriously. But if the younger person does have a high maturity, then it probably should be wiped out. But yeah, I know that if you make a rule, you have to kind of have the same rule for everyone. But the truth is that everyone's not the same, and some 15-year-olds are probably very mature for the age, and other 15-year-olds aren't, and they can be taken advantage of. I was thinking before when I was saying that 15 should be a good age. A part of my reasoning for that is I was also thinking of all the sort of child marriages over the world, which I do not agree with and I do not support. And I see that as, I see that as child rape in a way if it's under 15. Um, but um, but yeah, I was thinking about that, and I guess I was trying to find some sort of compromise, being like that's not okay, but 15 is. But I was also thinking that their life expectancy often isn't very old. It's often very young in a lot of places. A lot of places people do die before they hit the age of 30 or 40 because of bad hygiene or health or overwork or not having the right medication or funding and stuff. So if you die younger, you would expect to get married younger. But yeah, I feel like though I need to stop dropping my standards because that's not helping things. I think if people are dying before if the average life expectancy is in their 30s, then I feel like there's just something very wrong with the country, and it it shouldn't be like that. We have better standards. The world should have better standards everywhere. We shouldn't have to keep living like we were thousands of years ago. I just think that if that's happening, it's because the world is not coping, and yeah, something needs to change a bit about it. But yeah, I think if the world's population was massively reduced, then all this poverty and early death rates probably wouldn't be happening, and hence in those circumstances, 15 shouldn't be considered a normal age for consent. Yeah. So yeah, I feel like I'm changing my stand on this after thinking about kind of Russell Brand, and just I don't know. I don't like the thought of people that are like that getting, who are, I think it was 31 or something. I don't like the thought of people like that getting with a 16-year-old, because um I feel like it can turn into abuse if the 15-year-old isn't aware of a mental illness that he might have. I feel like I see it in his eyes. And sometimes he talks way too intensely, and yeah, sometimes listening to him, I just feel like I'm getting a headache, and it's just like, wow, this is too much. But if you're younger, you might not see it and stuff, and yeah. So for this, I definitely I changed my stand, and I feel like 18 should be a legal age of consent, but there definitely should be like if someone is younger but maturer, and acts like an 18-year-old, then it shouldn't be it shouldn't be taken to court. It should only be taken seriously if someone's state is questionable.